Hello my friends, and have I got a long-awaited surprise for you. You all know I have devised a bracket for the Primo-Rite's CPS Primer tool. Well, guess what? I have now designed the same thing for the Derraco PCPS Primer tool. That's right, for less than half the price of the CPS Primer tool, you can get the same results, seating your primers to within plus or minus. If you have not seen how this works on the CPS Primer tool, please watch Proof to Seating Primers within 4/10,000ths of an inch. So stick around and learn how you can say goodbye to sorting by primer seating depth. If you found this helpful, please click the like and subscribe and the bell for notifications of all new episodes. You can get a membership, merchandise, download files, or donate to help me help you. This really helps the channel a lot. All right, let's get into this. All right, here we get into test number 3 now. I think I'm pretty close. This may be it. I will show you the things I did to this, but right now, what I want to show you is that these are all the same headspace, because that's important also. So there we are. We're zeroed. Why is this? Okay, zeroed. These are the 10 pieces we're going to be using. 1.695. 1.0695. I'm sorry, I said that wrong last time. 1.0695. 1.0695. Whoops. Get in there. 1.0695. Having a hard time getting the right angle on this. 1.0695. 1.0695. See, I'm trying to make this so you think I'm not trying to pull anything over on you. You guys should know me by now, but the new people, they might be like, I don't know what he's doing. 1.0695. 1.0695. Okay, so now we got that established. These are my 10 shells. I got 10 primers in here. I'm going to set up this thing now, and hopefully I can do this. Oh, I got to reset the camera. See, I'm trying not to turn the camera off. So hopefully we'll get good enough focus here also for what I'm doing. Okay, so that's about where I want to be. So now I gotta close that. I gotta go back to my dial indicator so you can see that. How's that? Is it probably reflecting like shit? No, that's good. That's right there. Okay, so we're 1.038. Now I'm going to do 10 let me start with what I changed. What I changed here now is because the distance between these two and on the CPS there's a greater distance in that, I do have to put a locking nylock, M4 nylock under here so it goes down no farther, because I think the pressure was changing it. Okay, and I made this longer too, it makes it a little easier to lift it. Alright. And I got this set, I'm pretty sure I should be somewhere around 6 thousandths deep, because that's where I seed them all the time anyways. So let's get a primer in there. Oops, I left the headspace gauge on the headspace. Probably gonna have to buy another one of these, although I don't want to. So, she slides right in, a lot easier. Then take your knob and tighten her down. It won't go no farther because that's on there now. And then it's pretty much basically falls out. Let's see where this one ended up. 0059. All right, I'll write down 59 on this. And put this over here. Let's get another primer in. I know this is slow because I have not figured out yet what I'm going to do with my primer tube. Because with this press, I mean, everything is great. I can't say nothing bad about this press. It's just this tool, the primer tube goes up here, and I don't have much room. I'd have to cut a short primer rod, which would probably hold about 50 primers. So, you know, I don't know. I haven't made my mind up there. What I'm trying to show here is just how this works. The primer rod is my problem. Okay, 0.66. Did I go in right? Yes, I did. Come on, dude. Get it flat. Of course, it can only be as good as this gauge, too, but this gauge has been pretty damn good. 6.7. I've noticed something when I do this, when I do the first one, it always seems like this has to get into gear or something. I don't know. Could just be me. Oops. Five eight. Now, you might see different, not different, but all right, 6.7. It takes a little delay to get there. So that's why, like, sometimes when I'm reading this, because I'm reading the actual scale, and I'll see what it is and I'll take it off and this will change. I don't know, I just don't want anybody thinking that what I'm not doing is my honest go of it. Now, one thing I can say is your mileage will vary. I don't know how good you are at setting your headspace or getting your headspace, unless I know you use the modular sizing die from Short Action Customs, okay. But if your headspace is different, this may not tighten down on it enough, or might not tighten down too much, or you know what I'm saying. Your mileage can vary, but I try to keep everything as close as I can. All right, 6.1. Another primer. Uh-oh. Oh, okay. That one looked like it just tumbled in there in whatever direction it wanted to. I don't really think there'd be any kind of difference of my flow in that, because this is just a regular press. I don't know. Five eight. Then I'm going to do, of course, 7 or 8, whatever I've got left over there, without the bracket. I mean, we need to be able to see differences, right? Come on. I mean, we're going with 10,000ths of an inch on this scale, so if I don't have this perfectly straight, all right, 60. We're going to go with 60 on that. Another primer. I got to check to make sure they're going in there right, because the way I'm dropping them in, this is not designed, whoops, for that. This one may be very weird. $59. Two more, bear with me. See, on the other one, the primer whites one, I used to wait till I could feel the primer touching it and then slam it down. don't see how that could make a difference on this one. Of course, I did do this, just did that one differently, so I'm going to try that again. Okay, that cannot be right. $54. Just wait till we get doing them without. Then these numbers will start making sense to you. Okay, this is the last one. 66. And I have noticed the way I'm using my arm is got something to do with it. All right. I'm going to take these, get these out of here. I got shells all over the place. 59. 66. 67. 59. 67. 54. 61. 66. And 60. Okay, so the shortest is 54. And the longest is 67. So that's 13 10,000ths of an inch. Not 13 thousandths, but 13 10,000ths. So that's like plus or minus 6.5 10,000ths. So I'm happy with that. I am definitely happy with that. Those kind of results will not show on paper, it will not affect anything. That's pretty good. And this is half the cost. All right, let me get another 10 primers here. Where's a row that has 10? Of course there isn't. So how many do I have here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. How many shells do I have here? 2, 4, 6, 8, 9. Okay. So there's 8. And one more. There's 9. All right. Now, we're going to do these by not using the brackets, so I don't need to put this on there. But I do need to put a primer in. Okay. Now these are going to be probably a lot shallower. .0018, and that's a minus in case any of them go over. I'm going to mark that here. .0014. That's pretty close. Those must have been close rim thicknesses. Two five. Three oh. Three two. Three oh. One six. I'm going to tell you one thing. This tool is much better than the CPS when it comes to not using the bracket. You know, not using the bracket on the CPS or on this one. One eight. One more here. Damn, I'm gonna have a lot of primers to deprime and throw away. Oh wow. The cost of experiments. Well, that one's almost flush. Let's see. Get this on here again. Point 0.0001. 0.0001. All right. Let's gather these up now. Get these out of the way. I know I'm right in the camera, sorry. Okay. So we got that last one there, point 0.0001. 0.0014. 0.0025. Where are you going to, pal? 0.0032. 0.0018. 0.0030. 0.0030. 0.0016 and 0.0018. Okay, so our longest was 0.0032 and our shortest was 0.0001. So that gives us 0.0031 difference. That's 3 thousandths. That will definitely affect your target. So that's 31 10,000ths compared to 13 10,000ths. And I'm sure I'm going to get better numbers on that once I figure out how to use this better. There's got to be something that I can get more out of this. And I'm betting it has something to do with just setting this on top. I just have a bad feeling with that. But the tool itself, let me say, this is an extraordinary design. This is really nice. Really nice. Could be maybe I gotta tighten some things up about, maybe there's a little bit of flex getting in there. I'm not sure, but I will keep you posted. But I wanted to get this video out now because this is given just as good a results as the $680 CPS primer, okay? But this only cost you, if you get the right shell, if you get a good shell holder and that. I think I paid $230, and that's Australian dollars. I think, if I'm not mistaken, do the math, but it's like 180 American dollars. It's almost $500 difference. And of course this kit, once I figure out the exact parts and everything, how to market it, there will be none of that stainless steel plate. That stainless steel plate was the biggest expense in the CPS hookup. So I'm thinking this would probably be somewhere around 50 bucks, you know, is an estimate. I got to see how much, you know, getting these plates made will cost me. The hardware's nothing, but so there you go. This definitely works, definitely improves your primer seating. There's no way you're going to get your primer seating exactly the same every single time to the 10,000s. That is not going to happen. That's just physics. So there you go. Let me see what else I can add to this video if I have to, but right now I'm going to turn this segment off. Alright, what we have here is a failure to communicate. I spoke out of turn. This is very great. I'm very happy with the results that this gave us, but it is not as good as the CPS. A couple 10,000s here or there on either side, which isn't going to make any difference on target, so don't worry about that. And then I will figure out the cost of the conversion kit. It'll be like, it's got to be somewhere around 50 bucks, that's it. It doesn't need the plate. You can mount this on a regular press, there's no problem. If you have the Nexus press, you're going to have to do it the way I show, and I will make directions, a video directions when I'm ready. So just give me a little time here. I'm trying to rush this as much as I can, but I don't want to say anything wrong or do anything wrong. But thank you for joining me, and don't forget to hit the like, subscribe, and the bell for all notifications. And please donate, help me out here. You saw how many primers I go. I mean, this is what I do, and it costs me money. Thank you very much. See you on the next one.